What's up, losers? KD3 here. Persona 3 Reload is right around the corner, and the hype train is very real. I'm making this video for you guys because I can't wait. I'm literally fiending for this game, and I know you guys are too. So to make the wait a bit more bearable, I'm gonna recommend 5 different series for you guys that should hold you over until Persona 3 Reload gets here. Don't worry, I'm not throwing random series out there for you either. There are many games that I'm confident will meet the needs of Persona fans. Now, on to business.
With my vision, I'll guide you all to victory. Sounds great!
Starting off this list is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor. Now I know what some of you guys are thinking. KD, what the hell is wrong with you? You know Persona fans don't play SMT because it's way too hard, right? Yeah, I know. That's why it's number 5. If I didn't have the potential viewers' thoughts in mind, this would be number 1. But what if I told you that Devil Survivor is kinda like Persona? I actually had no intention of getting into SMT myself anytime soon, until I watched Gnarly's video about this game. The game has such an amazing story, as well as the most lovable and relatable characters. You can get Black Frost as a party member, for God's sake. It is a tactical JRPG though, so if you don't play those, it may take some time getting used to. And since it's a SMT game, it is quite hard, but the story and characters make it worth the struggle. On top of that, this game has some of the most customization in the entire series. You can build your stats and skills how you want for the most part, with a few restrictions such as your race. It also has a mechanic similar to Persona that lets you bond with a lot of characters. Another similarity to Persona is that you are on a time-based schedule. You can spend this time bonding with your favorite characters or battling enemies, but be careful. In this game, actions or inactions have consequences. Your favorite character could end up dying, or you may not be able to get the ending you want due to not having enough information. You play this game as a group of childhood friends in Japan. All of a sudden, Japan gets put on lockdown for 7 days and becomes flooded with demons. The government has all the exits blocked off, and they're doing their best to hold the demons off. Eventually, you and your friends realize that you can form contracts with demons to use them in battle using a modded 3DS to become a demon tamer. As you try to figure out what's going on, you'll come across people from all different types of backgrounds who handle the lockdown in their own ways as the situation continues to get worse. Demons aren't the only people you need to watch out for. Even your fellow man is out to get you due to being so desperate for survival. In fact, you fight with humans way more than demons. You'll end up duking it out with people of all types, from petty criminals to regular citizens and even the military. Everyone has their own ideas regarding how to survive this ordeal, and as time passes you will see what a situation this drastic will do to the human mind. Even your friends will be drastically affected by this lockdown, and you'll see them change dramatically. Fans of hard rock will absolutely adore the soundtrack of this game. There's only 26 songs, but they're so good that you won't care. Check this one out. I think Persona 3 fans will love this game the most, since this game is so immersive due to your actions actually having consequences, as well as the insane depth of the story and characters. There's so much to do in this game that you'll need to play through multiple times if you want to experience all of the events and lore. The game is packed full of it, so another playthrough never gets old. I wasn't too keen on the second game at first, but as I progressed through the story, I loved it just as much. This game straight up adds social links and puts a bit more emphasis on your bonds, so I think Persona 4 fans will gravitate more towards this one. It's also got those anime tropes that I know Persona 4 fans love so much. Speaking of anime, I'm extremely upset that the anime was treated as poorly as it was. Please avoid it at all costs. I don't think Devil Survivor 2 is as well written as the first one, but it's still an amazing game regardless, and it has its own unique charms that made me love it just as much.
You visit Fumi's lab.
Oh, perfect timing. Oh, I just love you so much.
What the?
Perhaps this is synchronicity, no matter how ridiculous that idea is. Anyways,
The heck?
I was just thinking about calling you.
What? And I'm leaving.
Denied.
What?
I put together a rather innovative machine, if I do say so myself, to investigate exactly how your presence manages to revive our memories. Sit there and take off your clothes.
Nah, fam. And I'm leaving. Be gentle, sweet Fumi. You sit in the chair.
Ah, so you want me to undress you? Well, I guess I'm out of options then. Any case, I'm still confounded by this accursed button.
Hey, Fumi, I brought the materials you asked for. What the?
Daichi walks away from the lab in a stunned silence.
Oh, Daichi, is that you? Right, I asked you to bring me new materials.
This can't be real. 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 This can't be real.
You hear Daichi mumbling to himself through the door.
All right, okay, I'll just re-enter the room, and nothing traumatizing will be happening.
Who is he talking to?
Hi, I'm Daichi
Daichi, don't look! Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no way. Stupid. I can't take this anymore. I can't take this crazy, stupid, ridiculous world.
Daichi drops the cardboard box in his hands and runs off. He's crying? Why are you crying?
I'm not sure why people keep screaming and running from the room. Is there a demon attack? But a demon attack would be less frustrating than this stupid jacket. Forget it. I'll just cut it off. I'm gonna go get my scalpel.
Whoa. Fumi gets off your lap and disappears, grumbling into the other room.
Don't move a muscle.
You feel an imminent threat approaching and sneak out of the laboratory.
You can play either one. The order doesn't really matter since the worlds are completely different. If you just want to experience the story and not deal with how difficult the game is, Johnny Awesome has a playthrough of the first game that you can check out. I believe Gnarly has a playthrough of Devil Survivor 2 on his channel. Shout out to Gnarly for shilling Devil Survivor so hard. If you want a more in-depth explanation about why Devil Survivor is probably the best Mega 10 game ever made, check out the 30-minute video he made about it. If I can't convince you, he definitely can. I may have this game at number 5, but in my heart it's number 1, and I think every fan of Mega 10 or video games in general should experience Devil Survivor. It is my favorite game on the 3DS and one of my favorite, if not absolute favorite games of all time, and I think it stands alongside Persona 5 as one of the greatest games Atlus has ever made, and Atlus technically didn't even make it. It was made by a studio that they had just recently purchased. If you're a fan of Persona games, that means you are completely okay with reading long lines of text.
Objection!
And I've got just the series for you, the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney series. Take on the role of an attorney named Phoenix Wright, of course, and solve some of the most insane murder mysteries, with the murders getting crazier and crazier every case. On top of that, you have to deal with some of the worst criminals the world has to offer, on top of the corrupt prosecutors. Would you believe me if I told you that this game scares me more than Resident Evil does? After finishing Justice for All, I slept with one eye open for a week straight. What makes Phoenix Wright so iconic, besides Edgeworth and the objection memes, is a large amount of memorable characters and how easy it is to get immersed in the cases. There is a healthy amount of challenge in these games as well, as you tear apart testimonies and use your gathered evidence to progress cases and uncover the truth. If you're new to the series, I would highly suggest starting with the original Ace Attorney series since it's the most beginner friendly, with the mysteries getting harder to solve as you dive deeper into the series. If you find yourself being a fan, check out the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, my personal favorite, or the Apollo Justice trilogy, which contains Dual Destinies, one of my all-time favorite games in the series. The Apollo Justice trilogy releases on January 25th. Kudos to Capcom for making the decision to bring some of the best DS games of all time to consoles as well as PC. Next up is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I don't know how you guys will feel about this one since it's an action RPG, but I've been waiting for this game since it was announced in 2016. Unfortunately, it comes out 2 days before Persona 3 Reload, which means that I won't get much time to play it. But I finally got to try the demo, and the game was so much fun despite it being a button masher. Team up with a group of 4 to take down strong enemies with some of the flashiest attacks you'll ever see in video games. On top of that, this isn't simply a brain dead button masher. The game has mechanics that reward the player for paying attention to what's going on with the link attacks and the skybound arts. For example, if multiple players can use the skybound arts one after another, you'll be able to do a super attack that does insane damage. On top of that, each of the playable characters works in different ways that you need to pay attention to, unless you're a Charlotta main. For example, Narmaya has 2 separate stances dedicated to 2 styles of play. She also spawns butterflies under certain conditions. The more butterflies she has, the more damage her skills do, so farm those butterflies. I was a bit skeptical of the game at first when I found out that Platinum Games got taken off the project, but I really enjoyed what we got, and I can't wait to play this game on January 31st. Now, my most consistent viewers know that this game being added to my list was inevitable. The number 2 spot goes to Neo: The World Ends With You. Anybody familiar with this series knows that the fact that this game has a sequel after 14 years is nothing but a miracle. The reason being is because even though the game came out on the DS, which had one of the biggest install bases in gaming history, it didn't sell too well despite all of the raving reviews because Square Enix just decided that they didn't want to promote it. So I'm sure the thought of a sequel did not cross anyone's mind. Unfortunately, the sequel did not fare well sales-wise either, for the exact same reason. On top of people comparing the game to Persona 5 for absolutely no good reason at all. The audacity of Square Enix to make it a timed Epic Game Store exclusive, then shadow drop the Steam version the day before Persona 5 Royal came out on PC. It was pretty much a death sentence. Anyways, enough rambling. What is the original series about? The original game starts us off with our edgy protagonist named Neku, who seems to have no care for his life or the life of others. He wakes up in the middle of Shibuya and quickly realizes that he can't interact with anyone. The people on the street don't even acknowledge his presence. He is also unable to remember anything besides his name. A bit later, he gets attacked by these monsters called Noise and forms a pact with a girl named Shiki so that he can fight these Noise off. Later on, he discovers that he is actually dead and is now in a parallel world called the Underground. Deku and Shiki must participate in a series called the Reaper's Game for 7 days. They are assigned missions each day and will be erased from existence should they come up short. The reward for winning? Another chance at life. In Neo: The World Ends With You, the Reaper's Game makes a return. The main appeals of the World Ends With You series are the unique soundtrack,
it sounds like a tremor, everybody's in the club getting the vibe together. Hands in the sky, yo, we move to the floor, leave you stressing. Unhappiness at the door, keep it funky. With a 4/4 beat from your radios, TV screens, and in it way too dark. Sun goes down, sun comes up. Bring me down, fronts go up. I'm telling you, so is it regular, electric, wire? Cause I'm on fire, twisted man, mic in my hand. Don't understand. He's the man with a plan. Bars on my phone, paper at home, to a ringtone, still in the zone.
as well as the combat and equipment systems. Neku utilizes pins to best his enemies in combat. Due to the massive range of pins, his arsenal of attacks is extremely unpredictable. In the anime, pyrokinesis is his go-to for combat. On the DS, you would utilize the stylus to use your desired attack. Another unique aspect of the game is how equipment works. There are different brands of clothes in the game that have their own unique abilities. This includes the pins. You can boost the effectiveness of your pins by increasing the popularity of a brand through battles while while wearing your preferred brands. The shops in each of the different districts also has an effect on the popularity of the brands. The more accessible brands in a district tend to be the most popular, especially if a brand's main store is there. The player can't influence the shop factor at all, but can adjust the popularity through battles. The top 3 brands will get buffs, while the least popular brand gets its power halved. The World Ends With You series is an extremely unique JRPG that has been relentlessly praised by the players for years, but has pretty much been a best kept secret due to its lack of promotion. That's why I'm on my crusade to put it in your face until you make a good choice and purchase the game. If you'd like to play the original game, you can get it on the Switch. Neo The World Ends With You is available everywhere except Xbox. If you're short on time and would like to get familiar with The World Ends With You before playing Neo The World Ends With You, check out the anime. It's not the absolute best, but it gets the job done faster than playing it. Now you know before we get to number 1, I have to have an honorable mention. It's the perfect excuse to shill another game while also ensuring that my video is at least 8 minutes. I will say again, if you're a Persona fan, that means you are fine with reading lines of dialogue for long periods of time, because you, my friend, have good taste. And do I have just the game for you? The best part is that this game is free.
That's what I'm talking about. This means something to me, man.
If you need a bandwagon to hop on before it gets popular, Your Turn to Die, Death Game by Majority is the perfect game for you. This game is a visual novel about a schoolgirl named Sarah Chidoan and her friend Joe. One day they end up staying at school a bit too late due to Sarah oversleeping. On her way home, she can feel the presence of a stalker. Sarah and Joe quickly retreat to her home, but once they get there, the vibes are off. The door's unlocked, the lights are off, and once Sarah finally turns them on, she finds her mother on the ground bleeding. In a panic, Sarah retreats to her room, only to be grabbed by a mysterious assailant and knocked unconscious. Upon waking up, Sarah and Joe are immediately forced to play a cruel game with her life on the line. They eventually meet up with others who have been kidnapped to try to figure out what's going on. As they explore their mysterious prison, they're forced to play cruel games with their lives at stake, as well as make some harsh decisions with the absolute worst of consequences. Filled with drama, deceit, betrayals, the cruelest deaths you will ever see, fun minigames, and a lovable cast of characters, this game is definitely not for the weak-hearted. I know, because I was in tears by the end of the first chapter. If you want the free version, you can get it from VG Person. The game isn't completely done yet, but there's still tons of hours of content to enjoy. If you find yourself really enjoying the game, support the creator by purchasing the Steam release of the game. It comes with a couple of extra mini episodes that dive into some more of the characters' backstories. Other than that, the free version and Steam release are the same. Before I get into my number 1, I'd like to have a moment of silence for one of the greatest minds to ever enter the gaming industry, Satoru Iwata. Without Iwata, my favorite Nintendo series would have never even existed. And my number 1 recommendation is the Xenoblade Chronicles series. There's too much to say about Xenoblade, so I'm gonna try and keep it as short as I can. This masterpiece of a series was created by Monolith Soft, one of Nintendo's best studios, who have even done work on Splatoon 3, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and even The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But Xenoblade is their baby, and without Satoru Iwata's love for the Xenosaga series, it would be something else entirely. The Xenoblade series has consistently brought us some of the most memorable characters and stories. Xenoblade 1 has some of the most lovable and memorable characters in the series.
Right, it's Fantazio kid, please! Oh yeah, baby! Oh yeah! You see that, eh? Leave it to Ryan! Ah!
On top of a soundtrack that can't be beat. While Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is easily the most controversial title in the series due to performance issues as well as the design of most of the female cast, this game still holds up and has some of the funniest moments in the series, including the greatest battle intro in JRPG history.
You've got a lot of nerve, you one-eyed monster.
Nia, you do know one-eyed monster usually means...
Huh? Means what?
It's, Mithra, why are you blushing?
Shut up!
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the peak of the series in my opinion, with phenomenal characters and a phenomenal story on top of its iconic hero system. Throughout the world, there are heroes that you can recruit to your party with their own stories to tell. Party members can even swap between their classes and obtain some of their abilities to use on their own. And that's not all, you can even unlock their outfits once you've maxed out their class rank. Silly me, I didn't even mention the game's addicting battle system. If you look at the UI, it looks a lot like an MMO. In battle, you want to perform actions specific to your role to get meter for a chain attack. Once you have it, you can let loose on the enemy and challenge yourself to get the highest damage possible. The depth of Xenoblade's combat is very deep, potentially leaving players who step away for a bit confused, but mastering it is oh so satisfying. The best part about this series is that you can start with any of the games in any order you want to. While 3 has many things for people who have played 1 and 2, a new player won't be left confused after certain events, but important events may not hold as much importance for someone unfamiliar with the previous games. Regardless, they can be played in any order. Just make sure you play 1 and 2 or brush up on the lore before you do Xenoblade Chronicles 3's DLC, or else you will be very confused. If you own a Nintendo Switch, please give Xenoblade Chronicles a chance. I promise you will not regret it, unless you wanted to try Xenoblade Chronicles X.
And I'm out. Later, losers.